It's December 2012. The world ended right on schedule and I'm all alone. What better time to run through the gaming highlights of the last 12 months? January. Oh, such a hostile, barren month. But not in video games. January 2012 was a fertile time of plenty, assuming you're an enthusiastic connoisseur of small traces of dog shit. Never Dead was a collaboration between Rebellion Software and Metal Gear alumnus Shinta Najiri. You played Bryce Boltzmann, a demon hunter with infinite sass. Bryce is immortal, so without the threat of death, Rebellion had to find a new source of jeopardy. They found a rich vein of untapped peril when they posed the question, what if your arms and legs and head kept dropping off and you had to roll around fetching them around 20 times in the middle of a boss battle in a rotating room? Sometimes it's fun to imagine the meetings in which people came up with bad ideas.
Hello, nice to meet you. Do you want to make a shit game?
Yes, please, but only if it's really, really shit.
But Never Dead's biggest achievement is its expositional banter. Bryce and Arcadia are constantly reminding each other of basic aspects of their relationship.
Bryce, as you know, I'm not an immortal like you.
You say it like it's a bad thing.
So you have to protect me.
Then there are the bits between levels in Arcadia's apartment, where you get to sniff her underwear. Now come on, Rebellion Najiri-san, whose idea was that? There's a list of underappreciated games that journalists love to mention again and again. Psychonauts, Bayonetta, God Hand, Beyond Good and Evil. Why do we do this? Well, it's because we're righteous, passionate, and standing up for the overlooked underdog. Alright, maybe there's an element of vanity. Maybe the very act of appreciating the unappreciated makes us feel special and justifies our inexplicable position as people whose opinions are exchanged for traces of money. Okay, fine, it's not even that. It's because when we tell you that games are good and you don't buy them, it's spelling out how futile and impotent this stupid job is. Well, February added a new game to the underappreciated list, Binary Domain. It was a fairly excellent third-person shit-out, as though Gears of War had come off its man hormones and decided to be fun. Edwin reviewed it for us. Waste of time that, wasn't it, Ed? What a pointless little life you've carved out for yourself. March, the month when mainstream survival horror died. The month when Silent Hill Downpour and Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City tag-teamed and teabagged an entire genre. Everyone's got their own ideas about how to make games scary, and although I'm not allowed to send emails to it anymore, I am a member of the Everyone group. So here's my idea. My brother used to say that his hand was a spider, and he'd put his hand over my face and say that the spider was having sex with my mouth. Well, if you don't like it, just ask him to stop, he said, but I couldn't because I had a hand over my mouth, and this led to fresh accusations that I must enjoy giving oral sex to a spider. Ever since then, I've been terrified of having to testify in court in front of a jury of hand spiders. Maybe that'd make a good game. Maybe it wouldn't. It'd be better than Operation Raccoon City. Is there anything worse than Star Wars? For 32 years, it's been nothing but silence, punctuated by spikes of insulting disappointment. But is there anything better than Connect? The dignity and elegance, the light speed response, the precision, and the endless enthusiastic jumping. So why wasn't Connect Star Wars any good? It's the Fermat's last theorem of video games. Telltale's The Walking Dead started in April too. It's Matt's personal game of the year, and I've just found out that he hasn't seen that video. You know, the one with twice as many girls as there are cups. So let's do the world's first game review cum reaction video.
The most wonderful thing about The Walking Dead is the simplicity of the control scheme, which allows you to really focus on the characterization of the characters and the relationship you have, particularly with the little girl in the game is it's
May! June is the month of E3. Words can't describe the excitement and majesty of E3 2012, but a powerful visual image coupled with an appropriate sound effect probably can. "12 months? This is loads. I don't know how they make 12-point scales. The Beaufort scale must have taken ages to make up. Once upon a time there was a developer called United Front, and they went to Activision and said, "Can we make a game with punching and cars in it, please?" And Activision says, "Okay, but you've got to call it True Crimes Honk Conk." And they locked United Front up in a dungeon. One day, United Front said, "We're halfway through now, can we have some water please?" And Activision says, "No, get out of our dungeon, you big stinky D-bags." And then Square Enix came in on a rope and says, "Why don't you make a nice game, and you can call it whatever you like." That game turned out to be Sleeping Dogs, and everyone agreed it was a fun romp. And then the king rode in on a horse and said, "Well done, Square Enix, providing you don't run a marketing campaign that hinges on people sending each other death threats based on the sizes of their breasts and penises. The goodwill from this should last happily ever after." The more life you live, the more pain and grief you experience. The future contains only decay, and there's every chance that that pain in your tendons isn't going to go away. It's just part of your new daily list of encumbrances, and you'll only forget it when a more painful condition steals your attention. That's why it's vital for me to believe that key moments in my life were genuinely fantastic. So I feel like I've got something, anything, over you young people and your inflated time remaining counters. So that's why I have a problem with HD re-releases. Metal Gear Solid HD, you can't even move the camera around in Sons of Liberty. How's that fun? Silent Hill HD? And Jet Set Radio HD came out in September, forcing me to accept that I only ever really loved it because of the graphics. The music's still brilliant though, it's worth buying for the soundtrack alone. The original tracks were mostly Hideki Naganuma, and if anything comes out of September 2012, it should be a resolution to get this guy to write all the video game music from now on. You don't even need a great game when you've got this playing.
He's a sweet soul brother, sweet soul brother.
October is usually the month before the month when everyone releases their big punching Christmas titles. In 2012, probably the last year of this generation, and certainly the last year of humanity, October pulled two beautiful surprises out of its dog-eared franchise hat. Two brilliantly meaty games that you just wanted to pick up in your hands and playfully shake and go, "Whoa, yeah, great games, lads!" Dishonored proved that it's possible to build a new, dense and manicured world. All you need is the guy who made Deus Ex and the guy who designed Half-Life 2. That's all you need. It's not hard, developers. There's no excuse. Meanwhile, XCOM proved that you can bring turn-based strategy games to the Xbox, and our faceplates won't shoot off revealing a flashing question mark. Games like XCOM and Dark Souls are never going to go Zynga mainstream, which means the people who do love them get to love them twice as hard. Halo 4 and Black Ops 2 are just two titles which were bought by millions of people this month and are commonly thought of as good games to play. But the game that really sticks in the brain, craw and urethra is Family Guy Back to the Multiverse, a game that manages to be terrible on every level and still finds in its heart to be jokelessly homophobic. It's like it said, "I know I'm awful, but I'm taking you gays down with me." The Family Guy game doesn't have jokes about gay people like the TV show. That'd be aiming for the sky. And it definitely doesn't use homophobia as a tool to spotlight how hateful and irrational homophobia is. It's just straight up examples of "you're gay," something which society deems to be inherently undesirable. I wanted to ask someone at Heavy Iron Studios why they thought Back to the Multiverse's punchline-free script is anything other than the witless validation of bigotry. But it turns out that phoning up Activision and screaming "F*** you" isn't the best way to get access. It's December now. Am I allowed to summarise the current month? What happens when I get to the present day? But if this is a dream, I could have anything I want. And what's better than yoghurt? Yoghurt party with Shinta Najiri. Have some yoghurt. Eat it all up. Oh, a bit for me.